Hey, Mortgage Coach community, Dave Savage, and I am at Sales Mastery 2017 in San Diego, and I'm with Garth Graham. What's up, Garth?
I did not expect to come to Sales Mastery and end up in your hotel room, Dave. So, I'm happy to be here, but it's kind of odd.
The door is always open for you, brother.
Oh, thank you very much.
So Garth gave a briefing at the CEO dinner last night, and then he just gave a briefing. God, I couldn't believe how packed that thing was today.
It was full.
It was like people out the door. It was
in the hallways trying to sneak peeks.
Yeah, well, it was all because of you. They knew Garth Graham was there.
I don't know about that.
Garth Graham was Stratmore. So what I want to do for the Mortgage Coach community, I've been getting a lot of questions on, what were the takeaways from digital mortgage, and then also just takeaways for loan officers, branch managers, regionals. There will be some heads of production and C-suite that see this, but the audience is mostly, leaders of the mortgage industry. And I'm going to share my takeaways from the digital conference last week. But Garth is one of the speakers there. What do you think lenders should take away from that conference?
So I think the biggest one is this is the second annual digital mortgage conference in San Francisco. Their attendance was up. They have over 1,000 people for a conference after only 1 year. That's extraordinary. And that lenders are so focused on how to create a digital future that they're willing to put their money where their mouth is and travel to a very expensive city on one side of the country and attend a digital mortgage conference to meet the leading vendors that are active in that space and try to figure out what they need to do to create a digital mortgage environment for consumers. So, to me, that biggest takeaway is, holy cow, there's like 1,500 people here.
I think that the way I would put that takeaway is it's not coming, it's here.
Right.
And I loved that survey that I don't know if it was you, someone did, and they said who has a digital mortgage deployed, and it was less than 10%, let's say 6-ish%, but literally 80% will have something deployed and in the market within 24 months.
So we actually, when I presented on Friday, we break down the digital mortgage piece into like 28 different subcomponents, everything from the one everyone understands is electronic disclosures because that's been around a while. So what percent of lenders have each of these elements? I think the really tricky part is people think of digital mortgage as, and it's this big. Really, like anything else, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? You start biting off the pieces, but you need a roadmap. That's what my big message to lenders is that they kind of thrash around, they look at various vendors, but they don't have a roadmap that says, this is what I'm going to do in this sort of order. So they get very confused. Part of the way they do that is they attend the conferences, try to learn the various solutions that are available.
So I had asked a number of CTOs and leaders, what was your big takeaway? And I did hear a common theme, which was it became very clear and obvious that I need to have a digital mortgage from shopping to signature. And I do think last year, it was just all about chasing the rocket. Everybody what was a digital mortgage in 2016? It was the ability to apply, on mobile, online. This year, the digital mortgage is super clear that it is shopping to signing. Would you align with that? Maybe for loan officers on this, what is a digital mortgage? Make sure you speak to that.
So we start at the very beginning when we kind of do this road mapping on behalf of lenders, which is number one, where are you trying to get your leads from currently? What are your types of leads and what is your business model? You have to start right there. So are you doing Zillow and lead generation, buying lending tree leads? Are you co-partnering with realtors in the marketplace? Or in the self-serve, self-source, and or referral-based business? So first you got to start with what you are and what you're trying to be. And I think too many of the times they thrash around and they don't really address what is my core business model. So that's the first. That's what we call lead capture. The second part is response and management of leads. And I do think 54% of lenders have a CRM, which means 46% of lenders don't have a CRM. So they do not have a method to effectively follow up on leads over long nurture. We're hitting into a purchase market, and you need to be able to have a very effective communication strategy with the consumer. And with so many pre-quals and pre-approvals, you need to have an automated marketing solution that takes it all the way through. And that needs to include a digital component. The next step to me then is lead engagement. How do you engage the customer? And one of the stats that I talked about on Friday is the primary reason that lenders choose, or borrowers choose a lender, according to them, and we do surveys on this, is their interaction with the originator. That interaction still means the person is important, the human is important, phone conversations are important, but so too are digital tools like a mortgage coach or total cost analysis, the ability to have a professional interaction with the consumer that'll make them want to engage with the customer.
So what does that mean to you? So if you're watching this and you're a loan officer, first and foremost, are you using the tools that the organization that you work for has? You know, I mean, I find it like digital mortgage is going here. It's already here. But loan officers, guys, you're down here. You're not even leveraging what you have today. And to me, that everybody, you know, another takeaway, my suggestion, you need to think to yourself that everything that can be automated will be automated. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. So what do you have? You have you. You have your humanity. You have the fact that you're a human being. And if you
Is that
want,
a good thing?
I think it's a good thing.
It's a good
thing.
Right,
it's
cool,
a good thing.
All right.
And we are in a large, complex transaction. People want to do business with human beings.
Right.
They want stories from human beings. But we need to leverage technology, which means you need to leverage video, which means you need to leverage text at the right time, video at the right time, email at the right time. And so I just ask you, if you're an originator on this, you need to upgrade your skills. You know, and that starts with just how do you use your digital device to do life? You know, are you using Uber? Are you checking into your flights with your mobile device? But we need to upgrade our skills, and let's speak to a loan officer's roadmap. Like you, at Stratmore, you guys help lenders come up with their roadmap. But what should be some of the things that loan officers should do in their digital roadmap to being a modern mortgage loan officer?
So I'll tell you, here's the lenders we survey about digital mortgage. I talked about this last Friday. We asked them what was the primary obstacles they have to launching a full end-to-end digital mortgage. The number one thing they said was cost. And I get that. These things add money to the bottom line or to the expense line, and you know that's an investment that you have to make. You have to get the systems to integrate. The second, number two, is getting the LOs to change. So the executives at the lenders we survey say that one of the biggest problems is getting an originator to change their pattern. So for instance, they worry about investing in tools and having them not.
And I know this feeling.
Exactly. So it's the utilization is a challenge. I would say we have done digital pilots with 2 different lenders using the identical technology. And in one case, the adoption level was around 5 to 10%. And in the other case, the adoption level was 65%. The same technology. The difference was the people and the process. So the ones where it worked, the loan officers there said, I have a great new process. I'm going to send you a link. You should go ahead and apply online, and here's what the benefits are to you. They send it to the customer. Customer did or didn't do it. Some did, some didn't. Then, if they're a high producer, they hand it off to their loan officer assistant. They complete the application offline. Then the loan officer assistant calls back and says, you really ought to go ahead and engage in this application. The process is much better. Some did, some didn't. Right. Then the third one was the loan's approved. You now have conditions. I need pay stubs. I need W-2s. I need bank statements. And guess what? Now you go the third time and say, the process is much better if you log in and share this data, and suddenly it goes up even more. So that was 3 shots that any human loan officer can do those 3 things if they
Absolutely.
had an app. The issue is if they just go, I tried it and it didn't work, of course it's not going to work. It's got to work 2 to 3 times. It would be akin to saying, do you want to take an application or not? No. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
And granted, there's loan officers who do that, but they're not the high producers. The good ones go through the objections, relate to customers, make sure they understand the proposal that you're making and the recommendations that you're making, and that you're on their side of the table. And if you don't really engage in the tools, they're not going to be used, and they're going to be less effective.
Yeah, and so for every mortgage professional, and you got to commit to doing it, and we've learned this at Mortgage Coach multiple times. So when we roll out the total cost analysis, it's like the goal is do it 20 times, and then you'll have the habit. You know, but you got to do the first 5. So here's a closing thought. I like to keep these under 15 minutes, and 10 minutes is the target. But a closing thought for me, and be ready to your closing thought, is the other thing I noticed is that everybody is their value prop, whether they're recruiting a loan officer and in the market, is we have a digital mortgage. Heck, I mean, Quicken Mortgage, that was their big commercial. We have a digital mortgage. Well, now that everybody, flash forward 24 months from now, has a digital mortgage, how are you going to differentiate? Well, my advice is to all you lenders that are listening to this, whether you're a branch manager, whether you're a CEO, you need to differentiate by how you execute, how you integrate technologies to work seamlessly for your sales force, how you train, because we have clients that have 70% adoption, even north of that. We have clients that have, less than 50%. And less. And it's all about, first of all, it does take time. How committed are you? It takes years to get full technology adoption. It takes integration of systems. You need to get systems working together. We want to give the consumer a great seamless front-end experience. We need to give our loan officers a great back-end experience. So the ingredients are time, integration, and execution on the training. What are some of your closing thoughts?
So mine is, and this is what we do for lenders, but I think it's apropos for loan officers as well, and that is that you have to have the people, which is what you do, the process, and the technology solution. And you have to think through and how you own your day and how you own your week is what part are you doing, what process are you going to follow, have systems that help you do those processes more effectively, and then the technology will work. But any one is not going to be successful without the other. And my final comment, if you're so overwhelmed by technology, then when you get in with the techno guys and they're making you feel inferior, like you just don't know as much, all you have to say is API. Because the entire industry is going to APIs to integrate all these systems. So if you just know a couple jargons, you're going to be in real good shape to have conversations about digital marketing.
And for everybody who wants to just feel smart and know what API means, application protocol interface. By the way, you don't need to know that. But so first of all, if you got a takeaway and you like this, you're watching this in our YouTube channel, like it and share it. Share this with your management team. Share this with your leaders. Hopefully you got some takeaways. Those were my takeaways. Those are Garth's takeaways.
And hopefully this will be the only video that you record in your hotel room today.
Yeah, right. Hey, one last thing. Garth is going to share with us some of the slides that he shared from stage at Digital Mortgage. Down below, so in the description, you're watching this on YouTube, down below there will be a link. So if you want to check out the slides, and by the way, I highly recommend that you do. I mean, I saw a lot of sessions. I go to a lot of events. You stole the show. You were the highest. You had to be the highest rated speaker.
Well, we'll see what happens in the end.
Well, you had some pretty good stats and facts behind you.
Exactly.
So, all right. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Garth.